Ah, yes. Come right in, Mr. Gary Oldman.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good. Good.
Hey.
How are
Jimmy.
you? All right.
You know Jimmy?
Yeah.
How do you know Jimmy?
How do you know Jimmy?
I've seen him on.
Oh, you have?
We're on the air.
Yeah, we're always.
Yeah.
We like just carrying on conversations like that.
Oh, I see.
You just made Jimmy's day.
Oh my
Mr.
God!
I am stunned. Jimmy, obviously stand-up comedian, but I guess you're familiar.
I've not seen you live.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've seen you do your stand-up.
Wow.
I've seen you on those shows that you've been on. You add a little. I think you add a little spice. It might
Thank
be
you.
Chelsea Lately. You've been on.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. There we are.
One of the
Jimmy.
one of the greatest actors of all time.
Absolutely.
Really, there's
huge
very
fan,
few
by
I
the way.
put.
We're huge fanboys.
And you would have said that before, Gary.
Oh,
said what
without
he
a
said.
doubt. Yeah, I've been saying that.
Yeah.
It's like you're different every movie. Like every movie, someone has to say that's Gary Oldman. Really?
Well, that's the fun of it for me.
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I was looking through your whole resume of movies, and yeah, Jimmy's right. You know, you have a great career going for
I
yourself.
believe is it 60 I've done? Someone said
Yeah,
I've
70.
Someone said I've done 60 movies. I certainly haven't. I haven't seen them all.
No?
And a few of them in the old days.
Yeah.
You know, when it was in the darker days. I don't even remember making a few of them.
Wow.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why were they darker days?
They were just it's nearly 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit too much of the
Substances.
a
yeah.
bit too much party.
Jimmy understands. Jimmy understands that.
Oh,
He's been
yeah.
sober for how many years?
Almost 25.
25 years.
25.
Almost.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but
I've been,
what's strange? Oh,
15
sorry.
years.
Oh, wow,
15.
really?
15.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
To remember everything.
It's nice to. Yes, it's nice to remember stuff.
I guess.
And thank God for the internet, too, because now I can switch addictions to sex. It's so nice to not drink anymore. I can just instant
Yeah,
message.
you don't even have to leave your apartment.
Well, we always.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you don't.
What we always find strange about Jimmy, he got sober at 18.
18.
Sorry.
Yeah,
18 years old.
That's realizing you have a problem very early on.
yeah.
You're lucky I think you're lucky if you can do that.
But I always was under the impression that at that age, everyone
Everyone
has
was
a
just doing their
problem
thing.
because you're just young doing drugs or alcohol
Well,
or
you
both.
know, I think it just depends. My son Alfie, he's nearly 23, and he's just a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen him have a beer.
Really?
You know, doesn't smoke, doesn't do any of that stuff. So
So it's not just everybody. Everybody growing up doesn't have to.
yeah, he's just. And then you see other people, and they're tearing their hair out, you know, with their kid.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You know, now I can say, oh, rather them than me,
Right.
you know, but it's a horrible thing.
Did you tell him your experiences? Because my father quit drinking when I was 2. So I kind of always aware that there was a life without drinking when you were finished. And do you kind of share with him what you went through, which made it maybe kind of deter him? Or did he see something?
No, it's just who he is, and I got one of my boys. I've got 3 sons, and one's nearly 13, one's 14, and of course that's all. It's like another life, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they've never seen.
Oh, right. They don't even know of you in those days, the dark days.
You know, as I refer to them.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
And there were some good times too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were you worried that it was going to affect your performances being sober?
No,
Because some people do worry that
no,
Really?
that's all
Rubbish?
I think that's all just rubbish that people sort of say that, you know, you'll think you'll lose your edge. Is
Right,
that
right,
what they
right.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to. Someone reminded me when I got sober, because we used to take mescaline and laugh. And I asked the guy who was helping me at the time, I'm like, will I be able to laugh again? Like, I didn't think I'd be able to laugh without tripping.
Jeez.
It's such an odd thing, that these weird, irrational things you tell yourself when you quit
Yeah.
to keep yourself going.
And of course, you romanticize. You
Yeah,
do
yeah.
a great deal of that, you know. So all the people that I used to look up to when I was, you know, when I was growing up and looking at other generations, you know, before me. I mean, Richard Burton and Peter O'Toole and all that. You know, it was all very much. It is very much that culture.
Yeah, it was almost glamorous, kind of a lifestyle to be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Perception
Yeah,
anyway.
last time I was here a couple of weeks ago, and we were staying at the Waldorf Towers. And you know, it's the first time I'd ever been.
Nice digs.
Nice digs, nice digs.
Nice digs.
And the walls are just covered in these fantastic photographs, and it's Frank Sinatra, and it's presidents, and it's Lucille Ball, and it's Kirk Douglas, you know, and they all look like they're having a really good time.
Yeah, they probably were.
You know, oh, the old days.
Yeah. Hold the martini, right?
Everybody's got a cigarette and a martini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't show you the other. They don't show you like the William Holden fucking bleeding out in his hotel room. All
cracking
the
his
other
head
things.
open.
With the William Holden suite, the bloodstains are still there on the carpet.
He knows. You can't play roles like you've played without being able to tap into that, because you're too good at. I didn't know you were British. Like, literally, I did not know.
Really?
I had no idea he was British until I heard you interviewed one time. That's how good you are. I thought
It does freak us Americans out when some actors who do a very well, very good English American accent turn out to be British. We're like, what the hell?
I've lived here a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lived in I was here for about 7 years in New York. And
Oh, really?
I'm in California now. So, but you know, my two boys are born here. I'm around it all the time.
Yeah,
I'm around it a little more.
So it's
But,
easier to pick up when you're doing a role, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're living here. You know,
New York.
That.
when you hear you come back and you hear that sound.
Yeah.
I love that sound.
Well, that was the accent I remember from The Professional.
Oh, was that a good one?
that was a good one.
And State of Grace.
What? Yeah.
I did a movie with Sean Penn.
But the Westies, right?
Yeah, the Irish guys.
Yep. God damn, it is amazing. It's great to have you here. And
True
you're promoting-
Romance, by the way.
Yes.
Before that, True Romance, to play I don't remember the name of the white pimp and the Drexel.
Drexel, yeah.
Fuck, was that good?
I was
that
looking
great?
through, like I said, I was looking through IMDb and looking through your movies, and there's so many characters. I'm like, fuck, right. He was that guy. He was this guy. And it goes to what Jimmy was saying. You play a different guy every time. It's not like, oh, here's, a Gary Oldman part. Yeah, it's really fantastic.
Keeps you you gotta, from comedy, especially. I mean, I admire it so much.
Don't admire Jimmy. Please stop it.
No,
it's
I love
killing me.
No, I think
Please don't do
I
this
think
to
it
us.
is. I think it's admirable. I see you guys, and you have to. You got to take the whole, the temperature of the room. And I know that in clubs, you got people that on a tour or a club, you got people going on before you, and they're getting a lot of laughs. And then there's maybe two people, and then you've got to think on your feet.
Right.
You've got to assess the room, take the temperature, maybe do the same act, but you've got to speed it up. You've got to. I mean, that to me, that to me is I watch. I look in awe at that.
Jeez. The beautiful part of it, though, is that this is where acting is so hard for me. I mean, it's really, I admire actors because I can get out of it. If I'm bombing, and it does happen in a scene, I just stand there in shame. My arms go out and I'm awful. But if I'm on stage, I can embrace that and go, wow, this stinks, and address it to the audience. But when you're trapped and you're acting, oh my, is that fucking terrifying. When you know you're not doing a good job as an actor, it's
So you feel like that all the time, Jimmy?
Yes, I'm always like that. Stand-up is free for me. That acting is very, very scary.
Especially on stage,
Yeah.
in the theatre.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, if and I've been in a few, if you're not in a good production,
Yeah.
at least with film, you can stink and walk away. When in a play, you stink. You've got 2.5, 3 hours of it every night.
And that's got to be long. That's got to feel like forever when you're just bombing like that.
Because you have a distance from it. You see, you can be if they don't like you in a film, it's 7 months, a year, and you maybe read a review or see something, and and it's a thing, it's a distant thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But if you read a bad review and you know that you've got to go to the play that night
and do it, yeah, and now you got to perform.
You're stuck.
Oh man. Do you take a lot of reviews to heart? Does it affect you?
I think it affects you. It affects you less the older you get, because you don't have. I mean, you have an ambition, but the
That youthful ambition,
and that
Right.
competitiveness is it diminishes.
Subsides a bit.
Yeah.
So
and
it used to eat at you a lot more when you were coming up.
Yeah, you remember the thing you got to do is you were just it's the ones in between. You know, don't believe the ones that are crazy about you. Don't believe the really bad ones.
Just average it out.
Average it out.
Got
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie, I saw this yesterday.
Yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yes, and you're amazing in this. There's a real a stillness to you in this, and it's about I guess rooting out a Russian mole in British intelligence, and it's Colin Firth is in it. And can I tell you the thing that struck me?
Yeah, no, I think the actors in it are. I mean, we emptied the National Theatre.
Yeah,
we just got everybody.
Those scenes. There's scenes. It's in the British intelligence, the higher office.
Yeah, during the Cold War.
Yes, 1973, I think it takes place. And by the way, they should win an Oscar for the set and for the camera work. I noticed the camera work, and when you notice how brilliant the camera work is, it was like it's one of the best shot movies I've ever seen.
Wow.
Ever. And I couldn't stop noticing that, no matter what was happening, if it was just walking.
And he doesn't do a great deal with it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
camera work that is, wazzle dazzle.
No trickery.
Right. That tracks along the floor and goes up the wire of the microphone, but it's beautifully. He can tell a story with with 4 lines, a look and the composition.
Yeah.
And you get very carried into the time.
Yes, and
of
you know,
movie.
I've never had a movie actually put me, and it might be the lens he used too, but I've never had a movie actually put me in an era like this. Like it's more. Boogie Nights was great, 70s, early 80s, but this movie you really feel like you're sitting in a theater in the mid 1970s.
Yeah,
It's
he
amazing.
used a lot of telephoto lenses. He wanted to give you a feeling of almost like there was another sort of a spy in the room, a sense of voyeurism. And it's funny that the look that he went for, Thomas Alfredson we're talking about, he's unusual, he's an original piece, Thomas. And when they were looking for when they were discussing the color palette of the movie and looking for that look, he did not reference other films. He and his DP, a guy called Hoyte van Hoytema, who shot this beautifully. They discussed he wanted to capture the smell of damp tweed. That was the colour he was going for.
That's like, that's interesting because it actually does conjure up something when you say that.
It's nicotine. It's that orange nicotine cold tea. I remember it well.
There's a scene too where they're smoking in the, and this is how you know where you are. It's in the sauna, and they've just, there's a discussion going on in the sauna about something, and the one guy's just sitting there. You see a guy in the back showering, and he's just smoking in the sauna. You're like, that's such a
they
great...
just played squash. Yeah. I think it's the minister.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, and he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Who was the guy? What's his name, too? I keep forgetting his name. He was tremendous. He played, I think his name is Peter. He was one of your partners, the younger guy he's got like a long head and blonde hair.
That's a character called Peter Gwilym, and it is played by an actor called Benedict Cumberbatch.
What is it? Is he?
That sounds made up.
It's like it's Dickensian. Isn't it? It's a character. But Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch. He's a remarkable young actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's tremendous. And John Hurt's in this movie too.
Yeah, love John Hurt.
John and
legend.
That for me is a career ambition.
Yeah,
fulfilled.
Really?
I've loved John long before I even got the idea of being an actor.
Yeah.
I used to watch him, and when we got him, when he said he was in, you know, I was so excited. And the first day on the set, I was just a bag of nerves.
That's amazing.
To hear that from Gary
I was
Oldman?
fanboy. I was like, I would clean his shoes.
Wow, that's so
That's
messed
amazing.
up.
I know.
Did you have a scene with him the first day?
It wasn't the first day, but it wasn't my first day. But I remember pulling into that car park where the base camp, and there he was standing in the car park, smoking a cigarette, talking to one of the drivers. You know.
That's good. That sounds like him. Yeah.
My dear boy. And I was shaking. It's nice, but it's a nice feeling where you can still. Where you can still. That you're not. I'm not. Thank God. You know. I'm not so jaded that I can't get excited
And
about.
you very well could be, though.
You've
you've earned the right to be jaded.
Meeting another actor. You know.
Did you say hello to him immediately?
Yeah, I just, you know, it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
And you know what? The great thing is, he is one of the most adorable human beings you could ever meet.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guy. So he doesn't disappoint.
Oh yeah. That would have sucked.
Yeah.
You know,
he's
somebody comes up and they're
wonderful actor,
kind of an
wonderful
ass.
guy.
And it's got to be awful when somebody is just unpleasant to work with.
That
'cause-
especially somebody you've looked up to.
Yes.
I want to know more about this movie, Jimmy.
Again, it takes place in '73, and it's hard. I don't want to give anything away. It's a very classic spy thriller type of movie. They don't, like you said, there's no wham bam bullshit with the camera work, and the tension in it. There's a few scenes of tension. It's as good as I've ever seen done in a film. Starting with, I guess, in the first few minutes, it had me from the very, very beginning of the film. The tension building is amazing, and it's like, what a fucking great spy movie.
Yeah.
Like this one's looking, the camera's on that one. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It was really, really tense.
Yeah, and they've avoided. I'm happy to say that they avoided. It has. I've described that the pace of it is a little. It's a bit like watching a lava lamp. It's got a pace that's like snow falling. And you hear things, you hear sounds in the movie, but it's not that he's amped them up. It's just that he surrounds them with silence, and so I mean, he gets a lot in, and it's a big book. We've had to really cut that book down, but you never feel that he's there's a pace to it.
Yeah,
he's taking his time. Yet we have, yet we get all the information across, and he's done he's not. They haven't pandered to that thing of,
right.
Well, let's do, Bond,
right,
and which I love, and I think they're well done, but
a great spy story, especially set in the Cold War, because there was no greater time for espionage than during the Cold War. That makes it, after that whole thing ended. People just kind of.
I think technology as well.
Yeah,
We were just on that. It's just you're on that cusp of. This is still very much a sort of analog world.
Yes,
with people, knocking on walls and reel-to-reel tape recorders.
Yeah,
and
trying to hide them and
Minex spy cameras that they had, and you're. I mean, a few years. We're in '73. I mean. We had Steve Jobs. When was that first?
The digital.
I mean,
started.
It all changed.
Yeah,
and I think
that old stuff had to be on tape and film and
files in
paper file.
A piece of paper, top secret.
Yeah,
was then taken down to a dungeon somewhere, and filed away. I mean, it was a very different world. And
there weren't cameras every single 2 feet, so you could kind of do a little bit. There's a scene where the guy has to grab files out of an aisle that he's not supposed to be grabbing, and it's just, you're like, why? Where are the cameras? Oh, that's right, it's 1973. You could do certain things. We actually had to shove something into your briefcase instead of just taking a quick cell phone picture of it. This is what I want to ask you too. All the offices are like these mini standing structures in this giant
modules,
warehouse.
kind of like it. Yeah.
Yes, is that so people couldn't listen in or put their ear right to it?
That was an invention of the director. Yeah, the sort of MI6, MI5, MI6 as you can imagine, they were in they were in old Victorian buildings. So the halls of MI5 were very narrow, and he felt that cinematically would be a little dull and restricting, and we've seen it.
Wow.
So he had this idea to have a sort of it's like MI6 inside MI6.
Right.
So he has that building, and he wanted to open the space up, and he and the designer, Maria Jerkovic, who should get an Oscar, I'm telling you.
For the set design? Yeah, it was amazing.
She and Thomas came up with this idea of opening up the space, but putting people in these sort of 70s prefabs, almost. Yeah.
Did you actually talk to people in the intelligence community, or like when you prepare for something like that? Because again, I was amazed at the stillness. They told you so much about who you were and what your life is just by your showing your daily routine of just this odd, lonely swimming and coming home to an empty house. It was a really amazing way to show that this guy's just lonely. Did you actually talk to people in the intelligence community there?
No, what I did was I mean, the source material, the book, is, I mean, everything you want to know about playing Smiley is in that 500 and whatever pages. But we had access to John le Carre, who wrote the book, who was MI5, MI6. So that was one-stop shopping.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, I didn't have to work really much outside of the book, the script, and the man himself. And so it was you know, you just had access right to the man.
Do you need some kind of like access like that, or many times can you just read a script and not really have to delve too deeply into?
Are you asking me
what
or
you're
Gary?
playing?
No.
Oh, shut up, Jimmy.
No, you know what? There's a quote by the acting guru, Meisner, Stanley Meisner. Stanford Meisner. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, who said that acting was he said living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. I mean, that puts it at, you know.
But some people are much better doing it than others.
Yeah, but you
really
need,
hard.
but you do,
Yeah.
you know, but you have to have a
He's
certain,
downplaying a little bit,
you
isn't
know,
he?
you've got to have intuition. That is a big part of it.
You know what the hardest part is for me, like besides memorizing the dialogue, which is critical, is the listening. When you watch somebody listening in a scene, it's like it's so hard to look like you're taking information for the
But
first
listening
time.
is active. It's not.
You're not just standing there.
It's not just hearing.
Yeah.
It's
Very good, yeah.
It's action.
Yeah.
You know, and actually another quote by the same man. It was an ounce of behaviour is worth a pound of words. And you,
Wow.
Yeah, and you sure get that with Smiley.
I've used just the opposite. A pound of action and forget the words.
I love his laugh.
It's it is odd that sometimes watching a movie and watching a well-acted movie, you see people after delivering a line do a little face twitch or just a snicker or something that really makes it
Something very subtle.
And that's not
It's the subtle
that's not
stuff.
in the script.
Right.
That's what makes an actor.
It makes the
great.
performance.
I'm telling you what makes an actor.
What
great.
was your favorite? What was your favorite role?
I'm an ass.
Because there's so many movies that we all want to talk about. But what was your favorite role to play?
Well, I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed
this
Yeah.
one a lot.
Tinker. Yeah, it rates as one of the best experiences. I say I think it's arguably I think one of the greatest role.
Yeah.
Really that I've had.
Wow.
I think it's it's a gift.
You have an amazing
This
monologue
part.
in it, by the way. Is it where
I
you're
do,
describing
yeah.
just
Carla,
an interrogation.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Jimmy should get money.
it's,
You sold this movie. I'm
but
telling
I
you.
really- it
I
was-
can't wait to see it.
But
now.
you got the movie.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
watching it, I'm like, what a fucking monologue. Like, when you read a script and you see, like, you have that monologue, it's got to make you feel good, like you know what you can do with that moment.
You know, oddly funny is enough. You want to. The more you take out, it is that old, like I said, you know, you see a page of dialogue and you say, listen, you know, maybe I could do this with 2 lines and a look. You know?
Okay.
And that is but that's a set piece. And I think Tomas's idea was that he didn't want to go back to another flashback. And we didn't want to see Carla. Because the 2 people that are ghosts in his life are the wife, Anne, who you never see.
Right.
And the face of Carla.
You see his wife briefly through the window, don't you, at the party?
You always, but you see her in the back of her head, you see her in soft focus. And they are really the 2 characters that haunt him.
Right.
So I thought it was a great idea not to put a face to them. We may do there's whispers that we may do the 3rd book, Smiley's People.
Oh, okay. I was not familiar with the book.
There's a trilogy. It's Tinker Tailor, The Honourable Schoolboy, Smiley's People, where he gets Carla.
Oh, okay.
Finally.
Yeah.
But so you know, it would be great too. But your question about
because I mean, he was Sirius Black in Harry Potter, man.
Oswald.
Well, true romance. True romance.
True romance, but
you get, you know, you don't often. It was 2 days work, and you don't often get a chance to come in and play a character.
A character like that really stands out in 2 days' work is amazing.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I think, with the eye and the scar and the wig and the thing, I thought, well, I'm only in it for 3 minutes. I may as well
Make a splash.
make a splash. Yeah,
But it was the finger sucking too.
splash. I'm gonna make a splash. Come on.
Oh, goddamn, Roland.
I know they're saying Gary has other
They're saying you got to
He's
wrap
a busy
up.
guy.
Someone's waving.
We got to respect
I
your
know.
time,
Yes.
Mr. Oldman.
Honestly, one of the greatest actors of all time, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. I put you in the same category as Brando or any of those other guys that did roles like the Young Lions or all these different accents or all of these different. You never knew who Brando was.
Looks different every movie, too.
Every time, especially when you see his old stuff.
Right.
And you do the same thing. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I loved it. When is it out?
It is out 9th of December.
9th of December. Okay,
Yeah,
so probably
December
a week from the 2nd.
In theaters
I should
next
probably know
Friday.
that. I just did 9 minus 7 is 2, like an asshole.
Next Friday, Jimmy.
Okay, next Friday.
Oh, God.
And
Next Friday.
I guess that's it for today for us because I'm going to try to bother Gary for a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
am
want.
I.
Can we
Yes,
get photos?
please.
Yes, of course.
Photos
All
would be
right.
great.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank
You're
you
tremendous.
so much.
Pleasure. Please come back and see
Pleasure.
us.
Yeah, I will.
The
See you
great
guys
Gary
tomorrow.
Oldman.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Thank you.
tomorrow.